fucking movie.
All right, welcome to the Baked Beans Brigade podcast. This is I Don't Recall, where we get baked and watch horrible movies so you don't have to. In this episode, we watched a horrible movie called Con Air with our national treasure, Nicolas Cage.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, first thoughts. What was your first impression on the movie?
Why was it not on a bus? That was my first impression.
Nice.
Yours?
How about you, V? Okay, yeah, go ahead, V.
Oh yeah, we didn't introduce ourselves. Fuck, nobody knows us yet. I am V.
Hell yeah.
Satan.
AJ.
What's up, y'all? I'm sorry, we're bad at this. This is our second time. Give us a little slack.
Yeah.
We're a little stoned, we're a little buzzed. Just
Enjoy the chewing in the first one.
okay. My first thoughts.
You.
It's always a pleasure to see a national treasure. That's all I gotta say.
Hell yeah. So my first thoughts, like, first of all, I saw this the first time. I was working in the fucking Brigade desert. It's nice and cool there. So it was like the end of the day, and I was with my girlfriend in the hotel room, and we're like, okay, let's see what's on TV. I was like, oh man, Nicolas Cage has long ass hair. I was like, that's fucking very interesting. Ended up watching the movie all the way through. So yeah, that's what I can say
Captivated
about
by
it.
that.
And yeah, actually the second time watching it was actually great. I got a whole bunch of fucking, I just call them cage liners, just fucking the one liners. They're so great. It's just I wrote down so many, so I'm excited. Should be dope.
Cage liners.
Yeah. No
Better
more
than
one
wallpaper.
Yeah. So
Yeah, every time I watch a Nicolas Cage movie, I'm not sure if he's actually supposed to be the main character.
yeah, it's Nicolas Cage's the main character.
Yeah. So there's a movie. We're probably not going to watch it because it's not a horrible movie. It's called Mandy. The only reason that I watched it is because Sun's lead guitar, the band Sun, their lead guitarist Stephen O'Malley, contributes into the musical score of it. So I was
Oh
like,
hell
I'm
yeah,
fucking
that's pretty
down.
cool.
Uh, I forgot where I was going with that, but Nicolas Cage is a horrible actor. People said that was his best role, but he just did a lot of grunting and yelling the entire movie.
And did you like that Southern accent?
Yeah,
Like went in and out of being Nicolas Cage and just Southern. I was like, oh, nice.
I I didn't notice it too much, mainly because he didn't talk at all.
Dude, those cage liners, I'm telling you, that's all he said. Oh,
Okay, so let's dive into the beginning of this movie.
all right.
Yeah. So first thing that I remember is he's talking to a stomach and saying, "You're gonna be Miss Alabama one day," and that's the opening fucking scene.
Yeah. No, dude, before that, it was fucking Desert Storm. Remember the opening
was
credits? Yeah, it's 99, and we're not in Iraq War yet, so it's just like all this video of like Desert Storm.
Oh yeah, 97.
Yeah.
God. Okay. Yeah.
A whole other layer just opened up.
Yeah.
And
Fuck.
so Cage
I
just
didn't do
came
nearly
back.
enough research for this movie.
Yeah, Cameron Poe, Cage, Nicolas Cage. It's like his first day back. He gets off one of the helicopters that lands from Desert Storm. That's why they showed all the action in the beginning. Because then it's like he's all in his military outfit, and then he just like walked up into this bar like full. It was so weird. He just like walked out of the helicopter into a bar. It was like a dream. I was like, what the hell is going on?
It's a music video. You just never knew.
Dude, definitely.
This is a music video for a Skinner album. Like,
Oh god. There's a bunch of good stuff. Nice.
so much Skinner in this
Yeah.
movie.
All they could afford.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, she was fucking. So overall, I think the movie was like. I mean, it was entertaining because you're like, what the fuck is gonna happen next? And I don't know if it was in a good way or a bad way, but it was just like, huh, this is out of control, and see what happens.
Yeah, like so immediately after he tells the stomach that it's gonna be Miss Alabama. Which is also that's such a fucking weird thing to say, not just to a child, not a baby, but just a fetus.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Cluster of cells.
It's one of the golden Cage liners right there. That's definitely one of them right there. And then like that guy at the bar was just being a dick for no reason. Which he was
Yeah,
like,
just
I bet you didn't know anything, soldier dick. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then he's like, it's because of you pussies like you. We lost Vietnam. I was just like, oh man.
yeah, it's like 30 years too late, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Why
Oh.
that guy wasn't even aged to have served or seen Vietnam
Yeah.
because he was maybe 40,
Yeah.
probably like in his 30s, and this is in 97.
You don't know that. His father could have said that to him while he was in the stomach. You're gonna win Nam for us, boy.
Just only the shittiest things you say to your fetus is what survives with it.
Exactly. Oh.
Oh god.
And then
Yeah.
what'd you think about that fight? Dude, the guy
I,
he just got mad for no reason. I was just like,
yeah,
okay, cool.
I took notes, and what that note said was snappy street greaser fight, because they came out of nowhere like they're gonna snap and start singing a fucking song, and then Nicolas Cage, he's dodging everything because he just went to Desert Storm, and like
Yeah.
apparently that's the skill level that they train you at to fucking kill brown people. They're just oh yeah, he punches a dude in the face and he dies, and
Yeah,
then goes
palm
to
of death
court.
to the nose.
Yeah, yeah, just
Yeah.
just uppercut of
And
death.
then who was saying is like, oh, you'll be all right. Like you served in the military, so you should like you'll get off easy.
I
I
don't
was just like,
know,
oh, or something.
but
But yeah, he goes to court.
he goes to court and the judge says you're gonna get life or whatever the fuck he
Hmm.
says because your body is a weapon,
Yeah.
the deadly weapon.
Dude,
Like,
I heard that and thought of like edge fucking surviving edge weapons right away. I was just like, oh shit, just a
yeah, yeah.
uh,
Even used his teeth. His
yeah,
teeth are edged weapons. Fuck.
exactly. Oh, and then did you notice how ripped Cage is?
Yeah, like I was
Dude.
talking about that. Like, if you're to put any Satan just pulled up a picture of Cage talking to the baby.
Oh, you can't see. Hold on.
But fuck, what was I saying?
Oh,
It's
shit.
such a weird picture.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
man,
just that.
nice.
God, what was I saying?
Oh, we're talking about the
Nobody fucking.
I see.
Oh yeah, he's so ripped.
Oh yeah,
Like,
ripped. Yeah, that's what it was.
yeah, so he wears like the like tank top,
Hmm.
like undershirt this entire movie for the most part.
The wife beaters.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
wife
wife
beater.
beaters.
Yeah, and like he's just like super tan and ripped. And like if you're to put any other actor's face on it, that'd be like the heartthrob or whatever. Like I'm pretty sure like I can't think of names right now, but
Those white guys.
Those
that
white
look
guys.
like
Oh,
that.
like
just the average white guys.
yeah, the guy who played Die Hard and
Ryan
fucking-
Gosling. That,
Yeah, Ryan
that guy. I almost said Anthony Jeselnik, but that guy's not a ripped, attractive white guy.
Dude, I was
Yeah,
actually impressed of
like-
how ripped Cage was. I was like, damn, dude, that must have took a lot of work.
Yeah,
I was like, damn.
you don't fuck with the Cage.
Dude, what'd you think about Nicolas Cage trying to speak Spanish with a southern accent? Remember when he goes to jail for after he killed him, and he's like, I guess one of the dudes like hands him a book through like the cell, and it's just like learn Spanish, and then he's just like speaking Spanish with a southern accent. It's so
Oh, fuck,
bad,
let's
dude.
get- You're out. Ugh.
It was horrible. You don't remember that?
No.
Dude, it was like important to
Slides
the
it
plot
through the
line.
bars. Yeah, like a passport.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just remember him trying to become Uncle Iroh from the Avatar, just doing fucking push-ups and sit-ups and shit. Like
Getting ripped by himself.
yeah,
Yeah.
just practicing to do firebending.
Wait, hold on. I gotta pause it real quick.
Yeah.
Dogs got out. Hold on one second.
So we were. I just don't want us to get too much.
Oh yeah,
off
no,
track.
you're good. We were Nicolas Cage speaking Spanish with a southern accent.
Yes. All right, yeah, I don't remember that shit at all.
Nice.
Like the oh fuck! There's something that I skipped. That I took a note on that just says that just says Adrian.
Adrian.
Adrian, because
Oh,
like
yeah.
after the fight, when like Nicolas Cage's face is all fucked up and shit, he's just yelling for his wife in the rain, like in Rocky.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It reminded me of Rocky.
Yeah. And how, just as a person in the military, how was your body determined as like your body is a deadly weapon and you're gonna
Dude,
get punished for this?
I
Like
don't fucking know. That shit
we've
was. I was
been,
just like, oh,
how many like military bar fights happen every single day?
probably a
And
lot.
then
Probably could
yeah,
ask.
probably
Yeah,
a lot.
I know some people I could ask.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they probably don't go to jail either.
They probably
Oh
don't go to
no,
jail, but they probably don't have their bodies considered
Lethal
deadly
weapons.
lethal
oh yeah,
weapons. Yeah.
lethal weapon. Oh man, that'd be a good series too. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, so like, after like Nicolas Cage starts speaking Spanish and shit, like he finds out that he's gonna get transferred and he's gonna see his daughter on July 14th on her birthday, but like he dude he yelled out the weirdest thing, like it was at 10 minutes exactly. I looked at it and he like is like, I'm getting out to that to his buddy, his inmate pal, and he's
ABO.
yeah, and he's just like, "Duh!" I was like, what the hell? And then he like hugs him. I was just like, oh nice. So weird.
Yeah, I Here's another note that I took that was there was like a prison riot happening and there's like beds were thrown in the middle
Oh yeah,
of the hallway and just
on
on
fire.
fire somehow and there's like chaos happening and Nicolas Cage is just laying in his bunk and
Yeah,
like
about to fall asleep.
yeah, about to fall asleep and he just turns over and covers his ears and my note just says riot too loud.
Yeah, and then with the next day, it's like everything's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, cool, nice. Yeah, right when he was about to leave, he with that guy, he's like, yeah, we're gonna get out of here, and he's like, why don't you ride the bus? You only have like 1 week or whatever, and he's like, but I want to ride in an airplane, and so then it cuts to the scene where to the agents. And they're like, we gotta transport these prisoners to a supermax facility. I was like, what the hell is a supermax facility?
Yeah, why is he like so stoked to ride on a plane? The fool like went to Desert Storm and
He's Nicolas
fought like
Cage.
like did this fool take a Greyhound to fucking Afghanistan? Like what the fuck?
No, I took a boat. Oh, and then also, so one thing about like, I should have probably said this earlier. Just a quick like side note. One of my friends that told me about this movie, he was saying that the reason why in the '90s Cage did all these horrible movies is because when he first got famous, I guess one of his big first movies, he with his first paycheck, or whatever, he bought a fucking castle somewhere, and he's been having to fucking pay that shit off ever since. So any work that came his way, it just like he needed to pay that shit off.
He has 3 castles.
Ew, fuck.
We looked this shit up because we were like, why is he in all these shit
Oh,
movies? And yeah, it's because he
the
has
myth
like
is
3
true.
castles. Yeah, like he's a fucking
Fuck.
child. Just all of the like stupid things that you'd think that a kid would buy, he buys. Like he bought a T-Rex skull for what, $500,000?
God damn.
But then he bought that and then like Leonardo DiCaprio bought it off of him.
Oh god.
Rich people are children. Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage is even more of a
And
child
then,
than
dude, did you hear about that one story where some guy found like it was like the #1 Spider-Man comic, and like a guy's like, oh, I found this in like some storage unit, and then Nicolas Cage is like, oh, I forgot that was my storage unit. Like that's stolen property, so he like sued him, and he got the fucking $1 million comic back for fucking free.
he in his will he says he wants to be buried with his $150,000 limited edition Superman comic. We had to look this shit up
Yeah,
during the movie
no, it
because we
makes
were like,
sense.
why is he in all of these
Yeah.
movies?
He's
So
not a
that's
good
why.
actor, but just why are you here, dude?
Oh no, he's a fucking national treasure. I don't know what you're talking about.
They said that in the movie, and that was my favorite.
Oh, I know that down. I circled that shit big as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay,
They said
so
the thing.
yeah, I was like yes, and then when they say the movie title too, I was like yes, they said the movie title. I was like stoked. But yeah. So after the Supermax facility,
Yeah.
like dude,
So many cops.
that and then
So many cops.
yeah, and then so like fucking the DEA, they call the DEA boys, And that one dude shows up in his like 50s Corvette, just like, oh
Yeah.
man, it's fucking horrible. And then yeah, Vince Larkin, what's his name? I forget the actor's name.
Vince Larkin.
Yeah,
I don't
the
remember.
main dude that was helping Poe, but he was an agent.
John Cusack.
Yeah, John Ugly Sack.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
But
who?
dude, his name was more like fucking Vince Narkin, because that fool was like, he's like, oh, I know who to call right away. It's like, oh
Yeah.
man,
Dude's a snitch.
yeah,
Dave Chappelle's in this movie, folks.
hell yeah, dude. Yeah, that
That's
was
it.
it's kind of some cringy fucking scenes he had. I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
dude, that sucks.
Yeah. It was very, very racist movie. There was one character who was pretty much just a Black Panther that they're just trying to portray in a really shitty way, and he's like one of the top most dangerous uh criminals in the world or something like that, like
Who?
how they're trying to portray everybody.
Yeah, Nathan Jones,
Yeah, I don't fucking remember names.
the guy that who blows up the NRA meeting. That
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Nathan Jones.
yeah, that guy. Yeah.
And then
What?
right behind him is like John Malkovich. I was like, this motherfucker. I was like, dude, this guy. I always confuse him and Gary Busey. I don't know. Like, I don't know
That's
which
true.
one's which. But
the
I
way
was just like,
he's
oh,
the way that he seemed like in this movie was just like Terry on the street, like that actor from fucking Parks and Rec. He just seemed like very vaguely homosexual and just yeah, those
yeah.
in
Then
his
after they announced all the criminals.
all the names,
Yeah,
Cyrus the
yeah,
Virus,
yeah,
John
yeah,
Malcolm
yeah. And then like after that, like they go back to the fucking DEA agents who are in the office. It was like the
from The
guy's like, dude,
Office, Michael
it's
Scott.
yeah. Like, do you think that we're responsible for breeding these animals? And he's like, we're not responsible. I was like, oh, dude, that's fucking too easy.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
no
yeah,
shit. What
yeah.
the fuck do you think?
I say smarty things like no smarty thing bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, cops are fucking dumb. Like I can't believe one thing that I think is just like is generational. I'd have to say is why the fuck are all these actors' heads so huge?
And their face is so little.
Dude, that
Like
one,
they just look
yeah.
so zoomed out.
Dude, that one guy's head looks like a cheeseburger. And then like Satan just said too, just it's fucking small ass face. It's just like in the middle of his head, just like Jesus.
Yeah.
Get a face, guy. What are you doing?
Just everybody's hairline just doesn't quit. There's just 7-story foreheads for days.
Yeah. Oh, then
Yeah.
like when Cage fucking he walks out the fucking the bus right before he goes on the plane, or he's like walking up, and then one of the quotes I put down was like he's like sweet bird of freedom. I was just like, oh god, dude. So he could have like fucking Satan said, he could have took the bus, dude. Like that's cool. I was like, nice.
Yeah, like there's no way that he couldn't have flown on a plane. Like there's such a big hole in that. Like and like flying in a helicopter, especially in like a military helicopter, is probably way cooler than flying in a giant fucking jet where you're chained to other people.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Sorry, I
I,
didn't
I like
but,
like when I forgot who said it, but they're on the
oh no,
they're on. Okay, go ahead.
we gotta. So the reason that he actually goes on the plane, not
Oh,
just
yeah,
because
yeah.
he's a dumbass, but like his baby-o, his
Inmate pal.
cellmate,
Yeah, cellmate. There you go.
his cellmate was getting moved. He was getting transferred, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like he's getting transferred to the same spot that Nicolas Cage is gonna take a bus to. So he's like, I'm not leaving you, baby-o. Like his accent floated really far between like Forrest Gump and shit.
Forrest Gump and Matthew McConaughey. That was his accent.
Yeah.
The worst combo.
The best combo.
The cursed combo.
Best combo.
Uh, don't know if he's gonna sell me a Lincoln or if he's gonna give me COVID.
Both. It comes with the car. And then also like so they finally get on the plane, and one of the bald white dudes, I don't know who, like looked at the guy. I think it was he looked at John Malkovich in the cage, and he was just like, "I was just admiring your cage." I was like, "Ah!" I was like, "Dude, Nicolas Cage fucking ad lib that in," and they're like, "Oh, you should totally say that. That'd be amazing." Oh, I think actually Cage said that. He's the one that said it. Like, I was just
Yeah,
admiring your
it was
cage, right?
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
I can remember that shit. Why are you getting so close?
Yeah. I like all the also it's like fuck you pig like all the fucking inmates. I was just like
Yeah.
nice, but then like
And
that
Nicolas Cage.
guy's a Nazi too, and I was just like oh man, and then he like elbows him in the face, the cop, and I was just like friendly fire, what's going on? I was like that's not nice, man.
God. Oh yeah, the like DEA dudes are like, you can't. No, the John Cusack, that guy, he was saying like, you can't bring guns on the
Oh yeah,
plane.
yeah.
And the DEA guys were like, we need shooty things because there's bad guys on there.
Oh, and yeah, I guess proved wrong in the end. It's like, oh, that was a bad
Yeah,
idea, dude.
yeah. So like the reason that argument came up was just because like they wanted to have an undercover agent as a prisoner
Oh, that's
onto
right.
the
I
plane.
forgot to
What
mention
like
that.
why?
Yeah, I
Why?
don't know.
Was
Like, make
just
sure stuff goes well.
and it's the DEA. So like, do they expect that these airplanes have just like cocaine on them? It's like those are CIA planes. You got to get that shit straight.
Yeah, I mean, it could be both, to be honest. Like, we gotta make it look like these guys are trafficking the stuff. So, like,
But I mean, like, didn't they fly to like fucking buttfuck nowhere? Like,
yeah.
are you gonna bring 20 kilos of cocaine to just buttfuck nowhere where there's 6 people?
Well, I mean, those are the people that need it. Just care package that shit into their backyard.
Yeah. Yeah, those.
And then, yeah, so that, and then once they start going, like, Dave Chappelle just starts coughing for no reason. And then he's like, oh man, he swallowed, like, lighter fluid and a match.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Oh, so, like, yeah, it was him and then fucking Gary
Gary
Busey.
Busey.
John Malkovich and the other dude that was in the cage. They both had like pins in their hands, so they pulled that out and they're able to like unlock the fucking their handcuffs somehow.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh man, those things look so thin. I don't know how they didn't break in there.
Yeah, just like, yeah, didn't they all have them in their mouths or something?
They had them in their hands. Remember? They was like pulling them out of his hand. It was like close up and like John Malkovich like pulled a little tiny pin out of his hand, and then the other guy pulled a pin out of his hand. You don't remember that? It was like they were both in the. That was right before they broke out of the cage.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it was
remember
in their hands and shit. It was like zoomed in, and there's like a little like a middle piece. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember that shit.
nice.
Also, I don't want to go over the fact that guy's name, like in the movie, was Cyrus the Virus because he killed so many people apparently.
Yeah.
But like, and then they bring out fucking Steve Buscemi in this movie.
Oh yeah. Wait. Before we get there, there's like so when that was like right after like a Dave Chappelle that whole fire thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So Dave Chappelle like spills the lighter fluid on the dude next to him and just like lights the match and he's like, oh man, he's like, do you see that motherfucker spontaneously combust? He's like, I've seen that shit. I've seen that. He's like, I seen that on the Discovery Channel one time. And he's like, he pulls down the thing and opens the cages and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, they get out because they already like took their freaking handcuffs off. And that's when the DEA agent like he pulls out the gun. Cause remember Dave is like unlocking his ankles with the keys.
Wait, we can't forget the big plot point of our main character, Nicholas National Treasure the Cage.
The Cage Rage.
So he's there because of his cellmate, and like
Yeah.
his cellmate is diabetic and he just needs his shot of insulin.
Oh
And
yeah,
then,
yeah, that's right.
like the guards are just being assholes about it. He's like, hey, he needs his shot, and they're like, we're not giving it to him right now. It's like, wait till we're in the air. And it's like, you could just fucking give this dude. I don't want this guy to die.
Yeah. He was the most innocent dude in the whole movie.
Yeah,
He just like, oh, I have diabetes. He's like, please help me, please.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, sorry, we gotta go on just because like I feel like
No, I forgot to mention that.
we need to remember that like Nicolas Cage is actually the like main character in this movie somehow.
Is
And-
he?
I
That's something that
guess.
I kept forgetting, and we cannot let our listeners forget, who will probably never watch this movie, that Nicolas Cage is one of the lead actors in this, and his face is on the marquee when they put up this fucking movie in
Yeah,
the
right in the
in
between the plane, right?
the
On the yeah. Yeah, and that's so yeah, that's when like
Chappelle
Dave is
was.
yeah, Chappelle was unhooking the guy's like ankle um braces and shit, the DEA agent that had the gun. And then he just like reaches for his gun and he's like, freeze! It's like, dude, you're so outnumbered and your gun's so small. Like, you're fucked,
Yeah,
dude. Like, what are you doing? You already saw that they escaped. Like, why are you trying to save the. You're not Nicolas Cage. You can't save the fucking day.
yeah. And by this point, Cyrus the Virus already went to the cockpit and stole like the nine that was in the 9 millimeter
Yeah.
handgun that was in the box, and this dude pulls out a fucking like a stapler pretty much of a handgun.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was.
One thing that I do, and like, actually, it was like, oh, that's kind of accurate. Like, the guns in this movie are like not that bad. I was just like, oh, they got some stuff right.
Why were they shooting in just an airplane all willy nilly?
Because it's an airplane, dude.
They can
That's what
take
you
it.
do. It was a military one, too, so.
Don't you shoot your guns in an airplane?
Yeah, it's very very helpful. It helps. Yeah, and then like the D agent like pulls out his gun and then God damn it, John Malkovich. Won't keep wanting to say Steve. God
Just
damn.
call him Cyrus the
Yeah,
Virus because that's
Cyrus the
such a
Virus is
cooler
so easy.
name.
Yeah, Cyrus the Virus like pull out the gun and holds that one cop hostage and he's like, you don't want to do anything dumb. And then like he's like, I'm a D agent, freeze. And he's like, no, it's like try to shoot me. And they get on this argument as he's going down the hallway of the fucking where the seats are. And then he ends up just dying because like some guy around the corner like he's like he's like scares him. He's like, oh man, and he starts shooting.
Oh, you
And
know, because Nicolas Cage jumps out in the middle of
oh yeah, he
them
was
like,
in the middle. That's what it
"Hey,
was.
we don't want to get all dead and whatnot."
Yeah. Yeah, and that's when I was like, I'm a D agent, and then one thing leads to another, and fucking Cyrus the Virus
The
kills him.
hero
And
of
I
the
was just
movie
like,
comes.
yeah. And I was like, oh man, I was like,
What?
DEA got DE dead.
What the fuck?
He's working his way up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so. Yeah, before this shit happened, Nicolas Cage just like comes up between everybody with the guns,
Yeah.
like, let's settle down, y'all. For no fucking reason at
Dude,
all. Like,
how much Xanax was Cage on when he filmed this movie? It's just like,
all
all
of his
right,
Not
there's
enough.
two guys.
should
Definitely
have
not
been
enough.
asleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Oh.
have to sleep through the flight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, God. I feel like this movie would have played out exactly the same if Nicolas Cage was just asleep on like too many Xanax.
Oh. Oh yeah, so then after
Yeah, you
that guy
just watched
dies.
this movie. We have to remember.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, yeah, dude, I'm like fucking watched that shit 10 minutes ago. Well, anyway,
What happens after?
and then I saw it twice too. So I mean that definitely helps. And
Fuck, we watched K911 twice, and still you remembered more shit than us.
dude, oh yeah, I
Better
guess
note
I have good
taker.
memory. It's that stoner
That dude.
memory, I guess. But yeah, then so that guy dies, and like their whole plan is like, oh, we gotta land in Carson City because they're gonna like pretend to get off some inmates. And then Dave Chappelle's like, oh, who are the guys on the list? It's like, oh, it's this guy, this guy, and this guy. And he's like, it's like we better think twice about this. We got 3 dead white guys, and we're 3 dead white guys short. What are we gonna do? He's like, oh, just put the
That was
cops. And
great.
that's what they dress up the cops as convicts. Then they land, and they're like, oh yeah, bring the other inmates here, and they all tape their mouths shut and everything. And then that's when Steve Buscemi shows up in the cage of fury in the back of that van. Dude, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this guy's fucking, who's the actor? I was curious, and I was
Yeah.
like, Steve Buscemi, what the fuck? I was like, where's Adam Sandler? I was like waiting for it to be a comedy. I was like, Jesus.
Okay, I feel like we gotta take a moment to think about the last movie that we saw, K911, and the contribution that Steve Buscemi had onto that. So as we all know, that dog drove a plane into 2 buildings and killed a lot of people. Steve Buscemi actually, like, this is a fact. Steve Buscemi used to be a firefighter in the 80s in New York
Really?
City. Yeah. I looked this like I saw this shit like it came up on an article from the Independent. Steve Buscemi was in New York on 9/11/2001 when the buildings came down, and
Oh
then
shit.
like called up his old firefighters, like buddies in precinct or whatever, and like he was a first responder pulling up bodies in the buildings.
Oh shit.
Like he did 4 like 12-hour shifts or something like that. Like
Jesus.
yeah, yeah, like that's an actual thing. And I just felt like we have to know that considering Steve Buscemi is in this movie, and our last episode is about one of the 9/11 terrorists, Jerry Lee the dog.
Charlie the dog. I mean,
Yeah.
goddamn. I guess
Shame him.
you give credit to.
Jerry Lee 2020.
I don't think Jerry Lee is from Iraq. Show me the
Probably.
birth certificate.
He had chemicals of mass destruction. Yeah.
His farts. That's what that.
Yeah,
that
that's
shit
what it was exactly.
in the storage unit.
Yeah.
All right, we got a little bit off track, but I felt
Yeah.
like that was necessary. But yeah, so Steve Buscemi plays this. He's pretty much dressed up like a Hannibal Lecter character from Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
And just like has the face mask on and shit, but it's just like the teeth, so he can still spit through it.
hmm
Like, is he just gonna fucking bite people while he's like straitjacketed up?
Probably.
Yeah.
It looked like it. I mean, it looked like he could. He was strapped down to his toenails.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi should have been the main character of this movie. Like,
He
in
is,
all honesty,
as of now.
as of now, yes, this is a Steve Buscemi movie where he's hidden for the first 45 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
Throw
Oh,
his
then
lump.
so one thing too that was like a distraction. Like Dave Chappelle, he like stole like the tracking box in the cockpit. Remember that? And
Yeah,
like
that shit was smart, actually.
yeah, he took that out and he left and he put it. He snuck it onto another like tourist plane or whatever.
Yeah,
And, like he gets caught up talking to this lady, and like he's like, "Oh shit, the plane's taking off!" So he like starts to run after the plane and stuff. After they have Steve Buscemi and or fucking Steve Buscemi in there. After they have Steve Buscemi
Yeah.
in the plane, he like runs up and he's like, "Oh man!"
oh yeah, that shit happened in that trade-off between.
Yeah.
Carson. Yeah, okay.
And like the guy looks out the window, like just got all burnt. He's like all bandaged up and shit, and he's like, "Hey, help me! It's pinball!" And the guy just like flicks him off. I was just like, "Oh, nice."
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then okay, so I guess skip a little bit forward because like I didn't really connect the dots until later. Dave Chappelle ends up in the landing gear somehow.
Yeah.
He-
So I
he-
didn't even. That was so random.
Yeah, he's able to run fucking 100 miles per hour somehow to catch up with a plane on the ground. Yeah, just what this fucking movie. Like, I didn't understand the premise of this movie until maybe like the last 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it came pretty
The
recent.
bunny. Let's talk about the bunny.
Oh yeah.
He, like reacted hella big. To
Put the
guy
bunny
searching
back
for
in the
shit.
box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he got up all this commissary. This was way before the plane never took off and shit. So
The
Nicolas
second
Cage,
time it took off. Yeah, way before the second time it took off.
Nick the Rage Cage, like before the first time it took off. He got so yeah, he told the stomach that it was gonna be Miss Alabama, and then like he goes to prison and the daughter is born and has never seen Nicolas Cage.
Mm.
I don't know how long he's supposed to be in prison because this daughter looks like
It was
5?
it was like 8 years, I think, at the
8?
end. Yeah, it was 8. That's what he said.
That's what
Fuck.
girls look like.
okay. Yeah, so, hasn't seen the daughter ever because like he didn't want the daughter to see him in prison the first time ever.
hmm
And so it's like
Weird.
it's gonna be her birthday,
July 14th.
July 14th.
I'm not
and
gonna
so, like,
miss my daughter's birthday.
Yeah, this guy misses out on spending his commissary on shit nice, and he gets like a fucking bunny.
How do you get a bunny in the
Oh.
commissary?
I don't know, dude. Is there's
I don't think that's how he got it.
maybe some inmates need something to hold at night.
Maybe
True.
you smuggle that between your butt cheeks.
That's what cocaine
It was-
comes in.
Yeah, so he gets that shit, and then he's like, "This is for my daughter," and he tells Baby-O. I can't believe that this dude, like, he's only referred to as Baby-O and only referred to Baby-O by Nicolas Cage. This entire movie.
He loves his celly.
He loves his
Yeah.
celly. This is why he didn't want to see his wife in all 8 years of him being in prison.
He
I
got
found-
comfortable.
Found a new one, honey. I'm sorry.
It's only temporary. 10 years or
Yeah.
But yeah, so he get from the commissary, he gets the bunny and shit, and so he eventually puts that. I guess they take all their stuff with them, on the plane underneath where the landing gear is.
Yeah.
Nice.
And speaking of this, Baby-O is fucking dying right now because
Going into diabetic shock.
yeah, he's going into diabetic shock because like he has his little like vial of insulin, but he just doesn't have a needle.
Yeah.
And like
nothing worse than that.
yeah, fucking that's awful. And there's like one security guard that was there was trying to help him, I guess, but still a cop, and there's like we can't do it right now, and then got handcuffed and shit. And Nick,
Yeah. She's like, oh,
Guess
sorry.
this-
I guess I can't help you.
yeah, exactly. Sorry, it's against my job description to help people. I can't do this.
This is not in my contract.
Yeah. But yeah, and yeah, so we go back to the fucking box of the bunny, and then one of the guys that's now running the plane, because we forgot to mention this is called Con Air because the convicts run the plane, and they say this is Con Air. They say the thing. It was cool.
Yeah.
We cheered. And so like one of the convicts is down underneath by the landing gear and pulls out the bunny, and Nicolas Cage fucking kills this guy because he takes
Yeah.
out a bunny rabbit from his.
Yeah. So the guy, like, he's having a full-on conversation. Like, the first thing that, like, Cage says is, like, put the bunny back in the box. And the guy's like, you're supposed to get off now? Like, you're a free man. What the heck? And then Nicolas Cage is like, put the bunny back in the box. And then, like, they get into, like, a little scuffle and everything. And then, like, the guy, like, dies from, like, this exposed, like pipe that get exposed, like, pushes him off. And he says, why couldn't you have put the bunny back in the box? And then he just, like, walks back up. And I was like, oh, man. That's
was
all
the
he
case.
said to the guy.
Yeah.
That he killed.
You can't forget that Nicolas Cage's body is a deadly weapon.
Oh, dude, it looks like a deadly weapon. Jesus.
All
So
that
ripped.
spray tan.
So ripped.
That spray tan is toxic for your lungs.
Yeah. Oh.
God.
Radioactive
great.
counts as lethal.
Yes. Those abs are radioactive. Oh, then so he goes back up and like he starts talking to Steve Buscemi, and like Nicolas Cage like has his palm to his face. He's like, "Oh, what did I do?" Like, look, he's contemplating. He accidentally kills another dude. Like, how do you accidentally kill two people? It's like, whoops.
The first one, like,
Yeah, I mean,
uppercutted the shit out of his face and he died.
and pretty much like it was super self-defense too. He was getting jumped by three dudes, so he was just
Yeah.
like, fucking swinging. So yeah,
The judge was just like, you have to die no matter
Yeah.
what situation.
yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah.
And then yeah, so Steve Buscemi comes up, and then like, dude, he makes like a really, I mean, it was like a point I was just like, huh, it made me think, and I was like, hell, I kind of agree with this shit. But like, Nicolas Cage was like, oh, you're insane, and then Steve Buscemi's like, what if I told you insane was working 50 hours a week in some office for 50 years? Then at the end, they just tell you to piss off. So they end up in a retirement village. Would you call that insane? I was just like, fuck yeah, Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, I took note on that. I said Steve Buscemi makes sense except for the hat because he said because
Right after that.
right after that, do you have the quote on that shit?
No, but he's like yeah, but how I ended up he's like the last girl I met or something like that is like I wore her head as a hat for like 3
Three
hours.
states.
3 states, that's what it was, yeah.
States.
Yeah, 3 states. And then Cage is like yeah, Cage, I don't even think he said anything. He just like took it. I was just like, oh, and then just like the scene changed. So I was like, oh, that could have been a good quote, but whoever wrote this shit just ruined it.
Yes.
Equating
Steve-
like wearing somebody's head as a hat to like being like tortured, like working. So it's like, huh,
yeah.
killed that. Like you're on good track, but then you fucked it up.
Yeah. So Steve Buscemi makes sense, kinda.
You're creative.
His
but
ass-
a killer.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you know that they make purses and shit out of human skin?
Really?
It's totally legal. You can do this in Europe. You can sign up to be a donor, and you can also sponsor something like that. Like if you know somebody whose skin you
Fucking touching me.
skin you want to be turned into something, you can totally be like, I volunteer this person. Their wait lists are already like super long, and like obviously like the purchasing is also super long, and they're like over $35,000
Jesus.
for like some handbags of some flesh.
Dude, you gotta email Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Wait,
We got a website for you.
are we gonna get a handbag made out of Steve Buscemi, or are we gonna get a handbag made for Steve Buscemi?
Let's get both. Like after we gift him one,
Just
he'll
an
just
item.
gift him himself to us.
Fuck, why
Yeah.
isn't this movie about Steve Buscemi? That dude is.
Yeah.
Creepy.
So far at this point in the movie, are you just like, what the fuck is happening, or is it like everything's making sense?
I don't think everything made sense. Like
Ever.
No, I know
Yeah.
it was a joke.
Yo, it's too real. It's too accurate to be a joke.
Oh, then so like, I guess with the freaking Nicolas Cage starts talking to one of the. Oh no, it's after they land in where are they landing in? In that desert. It looked like the Salton Sea. It was
I don't.
Ranner.
But
Some-
fuck nowhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
another
butt fuck nowhere.
butt fuck nowhere that was
Yeah.
more butt fucky than the first butt fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a hidden airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
they get. I guess they crash land on this like empty, desolate like airstrip, and I think it looks like Salton Sea or somewhere, but
Yeah,
there's just like
the
nowhere.
plane was piloted by Charles Manson.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah,
But with no music.
no music.
Which was weird. Because like why wouldn't there be a radio? You're on an airplane.
Yeah, come on.
Oh
At
no,
least that
there
radio.
was a radio. They were playing fucking Sweet Home
Fucking-
Alabama,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and like everybody was fucking getting down to Sweet Home Alabama somehow. I feel like Nicolas Cage songs are just like, there's only one band I will allow in this whole movie, and that was fucking Skinner.
I'll
Skinner
take the
Leonard.
pay cut if you bring them on.
Yeah, I've heard Skinner explained as the musical depiction of the Confederate flag, which I completely
Yes.
agree with. But also Skinner is still pretty cool, so it's problematic fave, I guess.
Yeah, we unfortunately grew up with it, but fucking free bird it up, I guess.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking-
Dude, there's one time at work I put on Freebird, except the solo is an hour long, and nobody noticed. Nobody noticed. You're just
like, still
wow, this
Freebird,
solo
right?
is really long. It's still Freebird. Like, yeah, it's still Freebird. You should do that shit at your work too. Like, it's nobody really notices, and you won't really notice either. But it's a pretty cool solo.
Nice.
Thematic.
So
I don't know
after
why they didn't play Freebird this entire like that just hit
Yeah.
me. Why the fuck didn't they play Freebird? They played Sweet Home Alabama when they're flying into like Wisconsin or whatever the fuck they're flying into.
yeah.
They couldn't afford it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that makes sense. They used all that southern money to pay for Forrest
His
Gump.
accent
Oh,
training.
Yeah.
yeah.
They hired a
It really
linguist,
wasn't too much.
a PhD candidate for linguistics.
I think setting a guy on fire inside of a plane was a little bit too touchy of a subject for Skinner to allow Freebird.
Yeah, maybe this movie was a tribute to Skinner, because I mean,
I guess
plane
so.
crashes what 3 times?
One of those attributes.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
So yeah, after they land, like they're all getting together and they're like, oh yeah, let's go try to find some oil or whatever. And like, we got to dig out the airplane because they almost hit that propane tank. That's why they landed
Yeah.
all dumb. They start digging it out and stuff. And Nicolas Cage is like, I'll find the oil tanker, and like he just like runs off into the distance into the little beat up town.
In his wife beater,
Yeah. I was like, oh,
showing
man.
off his glistening muscles and his weird ass face.
But he didn't actually go get the gas. Like what he was looking for was the needle for his friend, for his cellmate.
Baby-o,
Yeah, he was looking for that
the
needle for
only
the baby.
guy's name I remember.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then like while he's doing that, like he what the hell? Does he is that before? Hold on, let me check my notes one time.
My notes don't make sense, and I'm okay with that.
Huh. Okay, so it was like I think it was before. Yeah, it was right after. So yeah, he sees these guys and like where he's trying to get the needle, and there's like these dudes they're like waiting. It's like, oh, there's a whole nother plane there,
Mhm.
and they get into a scuffle, and then that's when freaking whatchamacallit, my guy John
Deadly
Cusack,
weapon.
yeah, John Cusack's just like freeze, and he distracts him because like
Oh,
Nicolas Cage
no,
is at gunpoint.
Nicolas Cage gets into a, a little brawl with these guys. And as you know, that his body is a deadly weapon, so he starts fucking people up immediately who have guns, and
Shooting
he
people with
throws
his
his gun.
fists.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like,
yeah,
and then John Cusack was like freeze, and like they both at gunpoint. Like Nicolas Cage is pointing a gun at John Cusack. John Cusack is pointing a gun at Nicolas Cage. So it was like awkward like dialogue.
Holding each other with their eyes.
Yeah, and then like so Nicolas Cage like runs back, tries to find the oil tank, and the other one of the dudes,
but
the convicts.
we can't gloss over the fact that like John Cusack and Nicolas Cage were both like, I gotta do what I gotta
Oh
do.
yeah,
And John Cusack was like, that makes sense.
yeah.
And
It's like
then
I
like
trust
just
you.
leaves.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's like you're in the military, you're good.
Yeah, you're a good guy. You only kill
Yeah,
brown.
so he runs away, and then like Nicolas Cage starts looking for like the gas tank or whatever again, and then one of the convicts, remember, he just runs off. They're like digging it through. Oh, and then Danny Trejo, fucking forgot to mention that guy.
Yeah,
He looks
yeah.
on top of the tower, and he's just like, "Oh man, they're coming!" And they're like, "Oh yeah, you have like 10 to 12 minutes before they arrive." So like one of the guys gets like panicky, and he like runs away, but he runs away to the where that plane was, where the scuffle went on with Nicolas Cage. He gets onto that plane, and they start it up with
It
another
was
guy that
his
was hiding in the
guys.
plane. Yeah, it's his guys, and like they try to take off, and like they start going, and they almost take off. And John Cusack's like, "I'm gonna save the day," and he like pushed the crane down on top of the plane, and that shit like breaks in half. And then that guy's just like, "I'm sorry." Like he comes out like barely alive. He's like, "I'm sorry," after it's crashed. And Cyrus the Virus is just like, he's like one of the guys. Charles Manson's like smoking a cigarette, and he like pulls it out of his mouth, and he's like, "I'm sorry, Cyrus Virus," and he's like, "Sigh," and then like Cyrus Virus is like, "Sayonara," and he like throws the cigarette, and it's like all the pile of fuel, and that shit just like explodes, and Cage is in the house next to them, and it's just like, oh man, this guy's gonna die for sure. He jumps out a window.
A plain
That's
glass window
that's
just
like what, a two by
charts.
2 foot freaking window. It was like in a window in a door. It wasn't even like a real window, and he jumps underneath the truck, and there's that old guy. Remember that old guy that was
Yeah,
underneath
yeah.
there?
Full bladder, old guy.
And the first thing, yeah, the first thing that Nicolas Cage says is like, "Hey, old guy, do you know where I can get a needle?" And he's like, "Drugs will end you, son." And then he's like, "Oh, I think there's one over there." And he's just like, "All right, cool." And he's like, "How you doing?" He's like, "This is bad. I have to take a piss." And like you said, he just has a short bladder and shit.
Yeah.
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 And
But
he
I think one thing, there's like a giant what the fuck plot hole. So like the DEA guy that has a giant ass fucking head that drives the like 50s Corvette.
cheeseburger head man.
Yeah, cheeseburger head man.
I don't know his
So
name.
I don't either. Just yeah, fuck, just 7-story forehead. That's what we'll call him.
Dude, his sunglasses barely fit his head. They're so small. They look like glass beads, like just on his head. It's great.
So that guy, like, he drove to the prison where they were like taking off on the plane or whatever,
Hmm.
and then John Cusack was sitting there, and so like when the like weird switch happened, and like Dave Chappelle put the tracker inside of the like the
Other
tourist line,
plane,
Hmm.
yeah,
yeah.
into the other plane, and the other plane took off with tourists that was like showing them different places.
Hmm.
When they realized that the convicts took over the plane, John Cusack was the only guy that knew what was happening. So he stole the like big headed guy's Corvette and somehow beat a fucking plane. Like he beat the whole plane and was waiting for them to arrive at the like new rendezvous point.
Hmm.
And how the fuck did that plane like yeah, how the fuck did that plane not beat the car? There was like a 50s Corvette that could go max like 120 probably.
It's a Corvette, man. That's why.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
sky traffic.
Yeah.
You know those
Exactly.
birds?
Yeah, there's too many fucking geese in the air. But yeah, I just like that's one thing that I had to take a note on, like how How? He noticed after that they had already left. And then, yeah.
It's because Nicolas Cage. That's
To
why.
protect the national treasure.
Yeah.
Did Nicolas Cage write this movie? I don't know.
No, I looked up who wrote it. One of the dudes that wrote it, he like made Tomb Raider, fucking Doom, the one with The Rock, like a while ago, I
You gotta
think.
watch that one.
And then yeah, that should be a good one. And then also the producer produced all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies
Hmm.
and a few other big ones. So the producer in this was pretty big. The director, dude, he fucking filmed nothing. So that's why this movie's a gem as well.
Yeah.
All right,
But
sorry. I just felt like our
no, you're
listeners,
good.
our listener.
So yeah, after Cage jumps through that window, like he goes to run
We
away,
appreciate you.
and like it cuts to a scene where Cyrus the Virus is like planning stuff in the sand. And he's like, okay, the cops are gonna come down the middle of this area. It was like a junk field of like airplane junk field. And I was like, they're gonna come right in the middle of this. We'll make them in there. And like he's drawing stuff in the sand, and one of the guys is like, what's that rock for? And then like Cyrus the Virus is like, that's a rock. And then he's like, oh, okay. And then like, he just gets back to you. He's like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna plan this way. I was like, what the hell? Why'd you have to put that in there? And then
Geology.
so after that, like the whole that a magnificent scene about like the Rock, fucking
Yeah.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson on the ground. It cuts back to Cage, and he's like kind of getting back to where the airplane crashed, or the one that they're trying to fucking dig out. And he's like, it's not exactly my ties and Yahtzee out here. I'm just like, oh man, he's like running towards the thing. I was like, what a line. I guess my ties and Yahtzee are a thing.
Yeah, so like he's trying to talk down somebody because I guess he's trying to go inside the airplane so that his baby-o, like, so he can get him the needle so he can
Yeah.
give him the insulin. And then one of the guys like has a gun. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then Cyrus the Virus comes up and it's like, what the fuck is all this talking? And this is my favorite line of the entire movie that Nicolas Cage says, and I think just the entire line that I've heard this year is I'm sorry, I gotta look it up. So, what the fuck did he say? He said, "This is your barbecue, and it tastes good.
Oh
I
yeah.
ruin it." And that was his fucking response to coming up to like an entire armed insurrection of convicts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Tastes good.
that barbecue fucking tasted good. Thank you, Nicolas Cage.
I'm telling you, wasn't there so many? There's so many good Cage liners in this movie. It's like incredible.
That was my favorite.
Give me another one.
Let me see. Oh yeah. So one of them was So yeah, after like Cage is like running to get the needle to Bayo.
Baby-o.
Baby-o. That's his name.
They were intimate.
Stoned. Yeah. And
They own each other biblically.
so by this time, fucking Cyrus the Virus, they have all the weapons. Like they found a bunch of weapons and stuff, and like they trap the cops in that little area in between the airplanes and stuff. They start firing like crazy, and like they blow up a couple of like military vehicles and stuff. And it was like, oh man,
Pretty cool.
yeah, that's nice.
Cool beans.
Yeah. And that while the whole time this is all going on, it's like a massive firefight between like 20 military and cops against the convicts and stuff.
Yeah.
And like Cage is just like sprinting through all this madness somehow, like not
Yeah.
getting hit. He's like, gotta get that needle to Baby-o. Just like running through that shit.
It's that love power.
Yeah. And then like fucking Danny Trejo gets his face smashed into the cage like 3 times by Nicolas Cage. Remember when he goes on the plane?
Got caged.
Yeah,
I
got
remember that.
caged, man. I was like, damn, I've been
Yeah.
wanting to do that. Danny Trejo the whole fucking movie. He was
Yeah,
pissing me
Danny
off.
Trejo's character is trash.
Yeah, that was
Johnny
horrible.
23.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking
Fucking
gross.
dick.
Yeah. I'm glad he got killed. Wait, did he get killed or just knocked
Wait,
unconscious?
wait.
Not there yet.
Wait, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, we're not
okay.
there yet. So after that happens, like they're like, "Oh, go," and they get the plane working and shit, and like they take off and like, "Oh man, the plane's tied down." So they shoot that cement block, and like it comes off somehow, like when they're like the plane's about to take off,
Yeah.
and it takes off, and that big ass wire or like that hook that Nicolas Cage put up to try to stop the plane hooks onto the dude's Corvette. And that shit's flying in the air. Like they take off and there's a bit of drag on the airplane. and it's the DEA agent's Corvette just like 200 feet in the air, and they finally like knock that shit off after it hits that tower, and you just see like DH standing there, and you just see his car go and just like gets destroyed. And the DH is like, he's like, oh, I was getting bored of that car anyway. I was like, oh man, nice to have you have a nice income there, buddy.
Yeah. How much money do you fucking make as a DEA agent?
Yeah, dude, probably a lot.
Also, how did the other ones that were just standing there not get hit? Because that car just came and it was like bird shit. You didn't know where it was gonna land, but it
Yeah.
just like right there.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Like they didn't even flinch.
Yeah, like waiting for it to happen. There was like,
Oh yeah. Okay. So talking about bird shit. So Dave Chappelle.
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
This
So
is before they land a second time.
so what was that? That was when Nicolas Cage killed the guy because he was holding his bunny.
Yeah, it was right before that. Yeah.
So like the guy that Nicolas Cage killed was like, you see what happens to dead weight, and so like this is like figuring out that Dave Chappelle is faster than Usain Bolt and just an Olympic sprinter going 100 miles per hour, gets caught in the
Somehow.
air, and like he freezes to death because like that's what happens that high up in the air.
You freeze?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember watching 1,000 Ways to Die. This is another tangent, but watching 1,000 Ways to Die. This was before 9/11. And why is 9/11 so important just to like this podcast, I guess, so far?
Numerology.
Numerology.
It's a great part of American
You're born
history.
there.
I'm a Serpico. That's my zodiac sign.
Shout out Storner.
Shout out orders.
Shout out to Compton
Hell
because
yeah.
they started
Yeah.
something pretty big.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's some good shit. I'm not gonna comment too much on it.
Yeah.
But it's good shit. So, oh yeah. So yeah, watching fucking 1,000 Ways to Die. This guy like snuck onto a tarmac and then jumped in the baggage claim or like the baggage hold area, and since that's not insulated because it's not where the like passengers are, like he froze to death even though all the things were closed. Yeah Satan made just a disgusted face, but yeah, that's that's what happened. So that's what happened to our friend Dave Chappelle.
Poor Dave.
Poor Dave.
Trying to make the world laugh in the movie.
Yeah, just trying to make the world laugh. Just he had another Tyrone Biggums skit inside of him.
Yeah, dude. That was great. And then the jumpsuit looked like the other movie that Dave Chappelle was in. Like, 'cause you know he was in the convict jumpsuit and he was a janitor in that one movie.
Yeah. Half baked.
Yeah, Half Baked.
Unlike these beans, we are fully baked.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not fully baked. I guess we're 2/3 baked because I'm just drunk right now.
Nice.
But yeah, where was I going with that?
He's gonna fall out of the plane, or Cage
Fell out of the
pushes
plane.
him out with a message on his shirt.
Yeah, and then there's like bird shit that just comes on this couple's car.
Oh,
Yeah,
they were lucky.
Yeah, they wipe it off, and the husband who's driving is like, "What the fuck? I just got this cleaned."
Waxed.
Yeah, you just got this waxed, and like, it's okay. That's good luck. So he puts his arm out to wipe off the bird shit, which is fucking disgusting. Don't you have like the like
Window wipers?
windshield wipers?
Yeah.
That's built in the car. And then Dave Chappelle just flies in and crushes their car
From the sky.
from the sky, just flying. And that's
He has-
the end of Dave Chappelle, and that's the end of that fucking scene. It just goes back to Nicolas Cage being a dumbass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck. All right. So, John Cusack.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So like
car drops.
after the car
Okay.
drops, and also like they see the car drop, and Cage looks out the back of like the open airplane and was just like, on any other day that might seem strange. And I was like, the fuck is a Corvette on the end of an airplane? That's like not strange. That's like, the fuck is happening? That was his line. I was just like, oh god, nice. And he like turns around and just like goes away.
National Treasure. Look, we gotta watch National Treasure. That's
Oh yeah,
that's no.
it's gonna turn into
Satan
Nicolas-
say no, but
it's gonna turn into a Nicolas Cage podcast.
Did not.
down offshoot second
Yeah.
episode, but we got an offshoot coming. Cage
Oh, and
crew.
so then after
Not
that,
Cage.
after the get Cage, after Cage says that line, like they go back into the airplane, and this whole time while like they're trying to dig up the airplane and stuff, Steve Buscemi like creepily like finds some little girl and shit and starts
Yeah.
talking to her. And like you think like people, I mean, the whole assumption is like, oh man, like something happened to that little girl. Steve Buscemi fucking did something, and so he goes back with like a little doll in his hand, and I was like, oh shit, and like that's when they start partying to the Leonard Skinner song, and then Steve Buscemi is like, define irony, bunch of idiots dancing to a song made famous by a band who died in a plane crash. I was just like, oh, nice. And then like, yeah, so those helicopters finally figure out that like it's not that tour airplane, so they fly all the way down and they find the Con airplane. And like the cheeseburger head man's like so upset, and John Cusack's with him too in a different helicopter, and like he really wants to blow up the plane with the convicts and stuff on it. It's just like, dude, what are you doing?
And yeah, like John Cusack was like, so he knew that Big Head Man was like aiming like missiles at the convict plane, and he's told his pilot like fly in front so we can prevent that from happening.
Mm-hmm.
And the pilot's like, fuck, all right, and
Yeah.
he does it. Like, why the fuck would you do that? Like,
Because they're
who-
robots, dude. They're
Trust.
trained to just not think. They're just like, I will do what you say, sir.
But still,
Self-destruct.
You've gotten to self-destruct.
yeah, I forget. Fuck.
And then, so yeah, after they're like shooting and stuff, and then like Baby-O, like he goes into diabetic shock, and he's like about to die and stuff. He's like in Cage's arms. It's like a beautiful scene, and like a Cage is talking to him. He's just like, and Baby-O's just like, he's like, oh man, he's like, I don't think God exists. I don't think he ever will. Like about to die, and then Cage is just like, I'm gonna show you that God does exist, and like he gets up and he like walks through the hallway and starts walking and walking, and like one of the guys that has a gun, he's just like walking. The guy shoots him in the arm. Like Cage just takes it like a fucking champ. Just doesn't even not even phased by the fucking 45.
body's a weapon.
By the 45 in his bicep, just like walks by him, like karate kicks this guy in the head. And it's just like, oh man. And he fucking goes up and goes in the cockpit, and somehow like he gets control of the fucking. He's like, you're gonna land this plane because he killed or he didn't kill Cyrus. Dude, Cyrus the Virus should have died like 9 different times.
Yeah.
Remember he beats his ass like after he gets past him, and then he's like, I'm in charge now. Cyrus the Virus is not in charge.
He
And
takes the gun too and puts it at the head.
yeah. And also when he says that quote, like, I'm gonna show you what God it really is. Nicolas Cage, like there's the music in the background. I just like imagine like a hair metal guitarist pushing the string super high till they break. It was like, and he like goes back and just like runs through the hallway. I was just like, oh man, it's like Cage Rage time, and just like runs through everybody.
Wait, okay, what point does Baby-O like almost die, like tries to stop, like, you will know pain now, or whatever the fuck his quote was.
Oh, I think that was when he was in Cage's arms.
No, wasn't that when like Danny Trejo was trying to
Oh yeah. So
hit the
yeah,
guard?
and then like Cage comes out of nowhere. Yeah, that was before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Danny Trejo gets Cage handcuffs him to one of the cages on the inside. Remember, and he closes the cage. Cage closes the cage on his cage victim. Yeah. Danny Trejo's like handcuffed to like the cage with his hands up.
You got caged.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cage. Double
Yeah.
caged.
Fuck. Yeah. I remember that happened. I remember what part of the movie that happened, but
Mm-hmm. And then yeah, so
That checks
as they're about to land, like they're gonna land on the Vegas Strip. So like he's like, oh yeah, there's like we're not gonna reach the airport. So like they start landing. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna aim for the strip.
For the
So it like
big
goes
guitar.
down. Yeah, yeah. And then while they're going down, like everybody's scared as shit. And then like Steve Buscemi is like, got the whole world in his hands. And then one of the guys next to him was like, we're gonna fucking die. And Steve Buscemi's just like singing away. It's just like, what the fuck?
yeah,
That was so cute.
that was so yeah. So that song came up because like when Steve Buscemi was like
On his play date.
on his
Yeah.
play date with the little girl, just like hanging out, and she's like, just not reading social cues. Like Steve Buscemi is not having a good time. And she's like, "Sing with me," and then starts singing that fucking song.
Yeah.
And then he
He
like,
just stares like what a creep. He didn't sing
yeah,
at the
no,
beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, she said like a couple lines and
song
then
is
like he started
happening.
singing.
What?
I was saying that the little girl sang like a couple lines, then he started singing.
Yeah,
Hmm.
he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, so he's singing that while like the plane's about to crash, and then the plane hits the ground, and I swear it goes down the whole Vegas Strip before it stops. You see how long that stop was? It was just like, oh my god! It was like, and like the whole time I think Cage is fighting Cyrus the Virus like inside. There's some shit,
Staying on his
something's
feet.
going on.
We hit some turbulence.
Yeah, and then yeah, once the plane finally stops and shit. Oh no, like they're about to hit the casino, and the pilot's like, "We're shit out of road." I was like, "Oh, that was a cool line." And then like
Dude, you
they
can't be
finally,
shit out of road in fucking Vegas. Like that.
yeah, there
So
only
they
is
like,
road.
They
That's what I'm
picked
saying.
the
They hit the end of they started at the beginning of Vegas Strip, landed, and they went like a whole 10 miles all the way down the strip. We're like, "Oh, there's no
yeah,
more road."
exactly. Yeah, because like as you can see from all the shit and where they land, they're in Fremont Street, which is like minimum the middle of entire of Las Vegas City. Like there's so much more fucking room. Like I
Yeah, then he veers into
uh,
the casino, hits
yeah.
hits the slot machine, and it's like jackpot, and it's just like ah.
Yeah, I like Tom Segura's I like quote on Fremont Street. And it's like Fremont Street. That's where the ugly people go to lose.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so like yeah, that's the fucking middle of
Yeah.
Vegas.
So yeah, they finally get to a stop after that jackpot, and like Cage gets up, he's like holding his arm and limping. I was like, oh, now your arm hurts. Before he didn't feel that. It's all
Why
the
does his leg
adrenaline.
hurt?
Like, he just walks out and he's like limping. He's just like,
Got bent
and it's just
arm.
like, dude, from the crash maybe that the plane crashed for a half an hour. That like I think you would get hurt. And then at this point, I finally realized like the whole meaning behind the movie. Like I was just like, oh, okay, I get it. The reason why Nicolas Cage survives, the way why he gets away with everything is like all soldiers are heroes. So
Oh,
don't forget that.
don't forget to put on your yellow ribbons on top of your swastikas.
No steppy step. All right.
Please no steppy step.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like they land and Nicolas Cage like he's just like limping out of the airplane with a fucking Baby-O. Baby-O's fine, like he's like the best I've ever seen him in the movie. He just like
It's 'cause he
walks
did
out all
get the
jolly.
shot. He did get the shot.
Yeah, but I'm saying like he suffered no injuries from the crash. Like what the fuck? He was just like
It was a good
yes.
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, they get out, and then they showed Danny Trejo like he's all hanging up. He's like, oh, the cops are like, I think this one's dead, and like they pull him away from like where his like where he was like his hands were up on above like locked up, and like they pull him away, and like his arm was still there as they pulled him away. I was just like, yeah, if you don't know he's dead, there's something wrong with you.
But they're cops.
Yeah, true.
We saw a whole movie based on cops. Remember Dooley and Jerry Lee?
Oh yeah, that's true. They don't know goddamn shit.
They don't know goddamn
But yeah,
thing.
that was kind of shocking. I didn't expect like his arm to be hanging there. I was just like, ooh, that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that was probably one of the most accurate scenes of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'd be dead though, like immediately. You'd just be like
Concussed
concussed and screaming for forever.
for a day.
And
Yeah,
so
'cause
yeah, after that they go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, do you have any like major arteries in your arms just compared to like legs and neck and shit?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm not a space doctor. I don't know.
Well, this is pretty close, heart.
True, but if your arms
Maybe.
are up, like you already lost like all the blood flow to your
True.
arms. And...
He should have just grabbed up his arm like Saving Private Ryan, just picked it up and like walked out.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking Danny Trejo, what are you doing?
This
Yeah.
is lighter. Just plucks the arm. I'll leave the rest here for later.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you lose a good 20 pounds, you're feeling nice.
Yeah. And also, so after that, like Cage looks out and like somehow, like the pilot of the plane that crashed it, like he gets into a fire truck and like Cyrus the Virus is on top of the ladder, like looking all spooky, like he's like climbing them and shit. And then like fucking the Cage Rage like steals a motorcycle cop vehicle with what's his name, John Cusack, and I was like, let's chase him.
They both look at each other and stop and they're like, this sounds about right, and then just go. Like
Partners.
Yeah,
partners,
exactly.
both on different motorcycles, and like, okay, one guy's an escaped convict, and it's like, I have nothing fucking wrong with
Yeah,
convict
exactly.
escaping at all, but just for like making sense of a movie with shitty DEA agents and cops and shit, and it's like you're just gonna be like, yeah, that's cool,
Yeah,
and
and
then
then also like they're like chasing the fire truck that where fucking Cyrus the Virus is on top of the fire truck, and like
Charles
Cyrus Virus,
Manson.
he's like shooting them while riding motorcycles, and Nicolas Cage goes to the DA agent. And he's like, "You got a gun?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why don't you use that thing?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." And he starts shooting back. I'm just like, "What the hell?"
Yes, that's cops' first instinct is to forget they have a gun. Facts.
Oh, yeah, that was fucking pretty bad.
Yeah, and then so like Nicolas Cage gets up close to the fire truck, and then like the ladder is hanging out, and so he like grabs up on top of it, and like he's like trying to climb it and shit, and Cyrus has this like long pokey thing that firefighters use.
Yeah, fire axe.
Yeah.
The
It's
hose.
no, not the hose.
So
It was like a spear kind
Dalmatian.
of thing.
Oh.
And so he started like trying to poke Nicolas Cage at it. Nicolas Cage is surprisingly good at dodging stuff while hanging from a fire
and
engine.
and still looking buff as fuck.
And yes,
And
that's
at
a
this
skill,
point,
looking buff.
they have two extra like cop speeders that like fucking went behind like to follow the firefighters. And it was funny because I don't know if you remember, but when the two other cops get off after they see all the ruckus, one of the police officers drops a donut. Like it kind of like speeds off and you see a donut fall and they like drive off. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah,
Did his boba fall too?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this shit's happening, and like I forgot how it happens, but Cyrus tries to like stab Nicolas Cage
Mhm.
and breaks the spear thing.
While hanging from the
Well,
ladder with one
yeah, Nicolas
hand
Cage breaks it with one hand and then stabs Cyrus
in the
in
cankle.
the ankle all the way through. This is a piece of wood that's like an inch thick, maybe,
Hmm.
maybe more, and then stabs it completely through this guy's leg. And just humans are not made out of tofu. There is no fucking way for
Yeah,
just a metal spear to go completely through your calf.
yeah,
But that's what fucking happened, I guess. And then
yeah.
Cyrus starts screaming, and then I don't remember what
So
happens. And
after
oh yeah,
that,
wait,
like
so like what happens before that is for some reason, oh yeah, rewind back to Carson City. Nicolas Cage's daughter and his wife are in Carson City waiting for
the plane
the
land.
Rage Cage to get like to get back and actually be free because he's on parole. And like they find out where the plane is going, and they take both of them up in a helicopter and fly them to Las Vegas, where this plane is now crash landing.
Hmm.
And they land on the strip with the helicopter so that the daughter and the wife can be there for when he crash lands
I
for
guess
some
so.
reason.
Yeah, and they must be like gambling at the casino or something because like the whole time like Nicolas Cage was in the back of the fire truck. Like there had to be somewhere. It was like half an hour. Like after the movie's almost over after it crashed, but there was like fucking half an hour left of the movie. I was like, no way. And like so yeah, after
Give me your
all
birthday
that whole
money.
fight, it's like I gotta give him that bunny. Put that bunny back in that box.
Put it all on red.
Yeah. And then so after Cage the Rage Cage, after he stabs Cyrus the Virus in the ankle, he handcuffs him to the ladder, and like then fucking John Cusack somehow gets in the cabin of the fire truck, and he's just like, "Aha, there, I got you." And like the guy, Charles Manson is like driving the fire truck, and he's just like, "How about this?" Ah, he turns like 2 feet to the right, and like you see the truck barely turn, and then he just like shoots him or something, and kills him, and John Cusack jumps out, and I guess the whole time they were scuffling in the cabin, like the ladder started going up, where Cyrus the Virus is like up on top where he got handcuffs, so he's like stuck to that shit, and then you see like a bridge coming up. We're like, oh, that's convenient. There's just a fucking bridge. like a walkway, and then the fire truck with Cyrus the Virus on the ladder. Like he runs, the truck hits the bridge. Do you remember that? When the
Nope.
fire truck ladder hit the bridge and where Cyrus the Virus almost dies right before he gets his head smashed.
I don't even remember him
So
dying,
he
honestly. What
he
happened?
flies
Please elaborate.
he flies through the window of this freaking bridge, and like I was like, oh, he's gonna land in the bridge. No, he flies through both windows. He was like, Gish! And he's still flying like, Gish! Flies out the window like 15 feet in the air, and falls down on this conveyor belt, I guess. And like he's just like, still conscious and alive, and then he gets his head smashed by like a gigantic hammer. Remember, he's like on a conveyor belt, and is like,
Oh yeah. It was in like a factory or something. It was
yeah,
like
it's so
probably like a
random.
metal press.
Yeah,
Also, remember when the pilot was like, "We've just ran out of strip," and they were driving on a fire truck for like 30
yeah,
minutes down the strip.
exactly.
But yeah, okay,
Yeah,
I remember that shit. I remember being like, "How the fuck is he still alive up
yeah,
to that point?" And
exactly.
then just like gets his head crushed.
He's probably still alive.
Probably,
He just
yeah.
reincarnated to Gary Busey. That's why I get it confused.
Yeah, it's all that happens, and then fucking isn't it like Nicolas Cage is just free, and he's like standing there like, "Oh, I can't wait to see my daughter."
Yeah,
And
and then like yeah, he's talking to John Cusack, and he's like, just so you knows, there are now three men I trust in my life. and
yeah,
then
Mhm.
and then John Cusack's like, am I one of them? And then Nicolas Cage says nothing and just shakes his hand. I was just like, oh,
yeah.
nice
So
guy.
that brought that first quote. That quote was brought up first when it was like in the first airfield when John Cusack was like gun to gun with Nicolas
That's
Cage.
okay. I didn't catch
Um,
that.
yeah. So like what happened was like they're like had guns on each other, and then John Cusack was like, "Put down your gun." Nicolas Cage was like, "No, I only trust two men in this
Mm.
world. That's me and not you." And that was it. And then just fucking leaves pretty much. So that's where that first
Oh,
quote
okay. So then it comes back, and he
comes up.
still doesn't trust him. Then I guess I
It
think the
still doesn't
third.
make any fucking sense.
I think
It
that
makes sense. Still makes sense.
it adds up to
It
three,
was
right?
obviously like
Wait,
his
so
baby, you
yeah,
know?
and then like so if it was gonna be the second one that he trusts, who the
The
fuck's
second
the?
one's Baby O.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought. That's what I was
The
gonna say.
second one's
Baby O.
Baby O.
Okay, that's what I thought.
His lover. That's
Yeah,
the only other one that
yeah.
he trusts.
And then yeah, so after that, like he gets finally like he shakes hands and then gets back to his like wife and kid, and like delays like they're all happy and she's like crying, and then Nicolas Cage is like, I meant to get a haircut. I was like, no, you didn't, dude.
What?
Like, no, you didn't. There's like everybody else in the prison. Like they had haircuts and everything. It's just like, okay, why are you the only dude with long hair? Like you had probably every opportunity to get a haircut, and he
Did
just
he
had
have
long
long hair
hair.
Did
It
he have
grew
long hair?
longer. Remember, he had it short when he came back, and then like it was
Yeah.
the one
He had
time bye, it just
regular
kept growing.
he had
Mhm.
regular National Treasure hair in the
Yeah,
beginning.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the Illuminati symbol on his forehead.
That's,
Yeah, and
that's
then
not a
like
widow's peak. That's the Illuminati symbol.
yeah. And then also like after he says that, like the daughter is like next to him, and like her mom just like pushes her really like abruptly towards Nicolas Cage, and she's just like, oh shit, like you see it on her face, like her eyes would get big, and she seemed like really uncomfortable with the little girl and
Mhm.
hugging. And then yeah, when he gives him the bunny, he's just like, I got a bunny for you, and like the little girl like hides from the mother, and then he's like, sorry, I got a little dirty. And then he like wipes it on his leg, does nothing to the bunny, and the girl's like, okay, I'll take it now. And the little girl like takes the bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like
Uh,
yeah, the camera zooms out, and then like it cuts the scene. I was like, oh, it's the end of the movie. And then you're like, wait, there's more. And it's like a scene with like fucking John Travolta being the fucking guy, the dice guy in charge at the end of the
John
movie.
Cusack or John
No, this
Travolta?
guy looked like John Travolta. He had like
Oh
the Pulp Fiction like ponytail, looked exactly like him, and the vest and everything. And Steve Buscemi is shooting dice. Remember?
no.
It was
Wait,
like the
was
last
this like
scene. It was like the
af-
last scene before the credits.
do you remember?
Wow.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. I remember
I
because
don't.
like because Steve Buscemi got like he actually got free from the crash.
Yeah,
Like he's
exactly.
happy about singing the song and all that shit and everything was going on. He just kind of like walked off probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Also,
There's no reasoning to how he was shooting dice.
yeah, but he's just like ended up free, and then later on, and then he's just like, and also some going all the way the fuck back. So the DEA agent, we just,
After the end of the movie, hold on.
we missed a big part that I don't know. It just stood out to me. So the undercover DEA agent that went onto the plane that had a
Mhm.
gun on his ankle. The fool had on like jeans, like Wrangler jeans with a belt on,
Yeah,
and just a regular blue polo.
yeah.
The
Stuck out like a
Levi's.
sore
Yeah,
thumb.
like
Yeah.
yeah, it's like none of these prisoners were dressed like this. Like, how the fuck are you allowed a belt? Like, no prisoners allowed a belt. Even if you just
Yeah.
go to jail for like the drunk tank, they take away your shoelaces.
Yeah.
This fool has a belt on. Sorry, that's just something that I just saw and it's like
Yeah,
you couldn't even.
there's so many holes in this movie. It was
Yeah, you
ridiculous.
couldn't even make that costume consistent. Like you couldn't have just ordered an extra one if like even if you forgot instead of just like, hey, wear a blue shirt tomorrow and
Yeah.
you're fucking
Yeah,
good.
John Cusack had to go. They're in a file cabinet. He's like, "All right, I got the prisoner outfit." He like takes it out of a freaking he slides open a little drawer, and he's like, "Here you go. I hope you're a size 11 and a half." The guy's like, "What the fuck?" It's
Yeah.
like, why don't you just like you said, why don't you just tell the guy to show up that day? Hey, just
That's
go.
just his extra clothes. That's just
Yeah.
is John
It's like,
Cusack's
I
extra
want you
clothes.
to dress in jeans from fucking earlobe to toe. But yeah, that was the end of the movie. That was
Yeah,
great.
that was then the movie, and then you're sad that you spent almost 2 hours watching this movie.
Dude, I watched it twice. The first time with commercials, like
We watched
TNT commercials in between, so it was like a commercial every 5 minutes. That shit took like 4 hours to finish.
yeah,
Brave souls.
Brave Soul. Why the fuck do like TV movies always have to be like that? Like we
I don't know, dude. It
watched
sucks.
what did we watch at our
It's a
aunt's house?
fighting movie.
It was oh yeah, we tried to watch Creed. We're not gonna do a video on this, but just like
Yeah,
yeah, we tried to watch Creed and like
so many commercials.
so many commercials. It literally took like 3.5 hours to watch a 2 hour movie.
Yeah,
We were
dude, it's dumb.
brainwashed and entertained.
Yeah, after like
But
not
like,
having like cable and stuff, you forget like how long commercials used to be. It was just like, fuck,
yeah,
dude. You think the show's gonna go back on? Or like another fucking commercial? Jesus.
yeah, like going to like a relative's house and then who does have cable.
Hmm.
It's weird, just like
We watched
we,
a commercial.
we watch random shit that we don't want to watch because it's like this is what normal people watch. Like we were watching like just
Cars.
car shit, just like people rebuilding cars, and we're like, we have no idea anything like this is related to. We don't know what this car part is called, but it's like, whoa, oh shit, there's a commercial. What are they showing now? And it's just like,
Brain stimulation.
since we have to stay inside with COVID and stuff, I guess it's like people watching, except like inside the mind of people.
Yeah.
It's like that's what we're
Yeah,
watching.
and like it's crazy because like he said, you forget that you before you're just like, oh, that's normal, but now you're just like, what the fuck? We dealt with this shit, like all this fucking this stuff
Yeah.
spewed at us, like Jesus, it's crazy.
Yeah. That's why it's so weird and like hard to radicalize like boomers and shit because like
Oh yeah,
yeah, boomers that were born like in the 50s and 60s, like they've only grown up with Cold War shit.
well, not even that. Like Generation X, there's a couple of dudes at work I talked to, and like try to talk to them about stuff. I'm just like, dude, you're like not getting it. They're
Yeah.
like oh, they're like shaming me for not wanting to vote for Biden and shit. It's like, dude, you go fuck yourself. Like you
That's
listen.
awkward.
They just accepted the propaganda that's been fed to them for so long, and they're one of the dudes that like, I mean, he's like, oh yeah, I've seen Con Air. Like he was like, it's actually a pretty good movie. And it's just like, oh god. And like it's just, dude, he knows like so many movies from like the '90s and early 2000s. Like he can name off any actor and stuff. He's like, oh, you know this movie? I was like, dude, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about right now. Like, but it's just like he was so in tune to like fucking MSDNC, that kind of mindset, like that Hollywood kind of life, like how Dad used to be more. Was just like, oh yeah. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh man, it's too much.
Yeah, like I think it's because like there's a phrase for it or a word for it called like monoculture, where it's
Mm.
like
Con Air is the password.
yeah, like monoculture
fuck.
because it's like we get to like and not and like we had the ability to, and we're like privileged enough to be in a generation where like we can actually do this shit. Like we're starting up a podcast just for fucking shits and giggles and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's like and like some people are gonna listen to it and have different ideas and stuff. And like Satan and I on this end we're anti voting for Biden because we're leftists and understand the horrors
Same.
that Biden.
Oh,
Yeah,
same.
and
Dude,
PJ is
same.
also like, yeah, we understand the horrors that Biden has like imposed on the world, on the US,
More
let
than
alone
Trump can even have in his wet dream.
exactly. Yeah, Trump wishes that he could have hurt fucking black and brown people as much as
Yeah.
Biden did.
Yeah. Because then he would be accepted by the freaking by the lefts, by
Democrat.
the Hollywood left. Exactly. Like that's all he
Yeah,
wants is just feel comforted by like the Hollywood people.
yeah, and like we're able to say this, we're able to make all these fucking 9/11 jokes and shit, and like people will listen to this, unlike in 1999 or like even
Yeah.
before, or even before like
1984.
but even before like like AOL Messenger and shit, and like all the like internet actually became big.
Light the beacon.
Yeah, like people had to like they had to listen into
That's the only
the
choice they
commercials
had.
and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They didn't had
exactly.
no other
Like
types of media
Maddow.
outsourced.
yeah, like Rachel Maddow was like a left-leaning voice.
Dude,
Like,
she is.
It's
yeah.
not.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I
like I
love her,
had
dude.
a coworker.
Fucking
Yeah,
horrible.
I had a coworker that he was a leftist and he was in his like 40s. And he was
Mhm.
an anarchist, so we like disagreed on pretty major things because I'm a communist and whatnot. But like I even asked him, I was like, how the fuck did you like get into being a an anarchist so young? And you just had to know somebody. You had to know
Mm.
somebody that
To
knew
spread the
what.
word and shit.
Yeah, exactly. You had to
Knowledgeable
know
word.
somebody that could like tell you what texts to read, or
Mhm.
like what thing, or like where to go to where to read what, where
Mhm.
to read what, or like send you an extra book and shit just so you can be educated on it.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's one thing that was awesome. Like when you started getting into stuff, you started showing me like, oh, here, here, and here. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then like little by little, like where I went to for my undergraduate, like at that college, like at the end after I graduated, I asked one of the main professors there, and he's like, yeah, I try to slip in like Marxist knowledge every now and then because it's never taught in schools or anything. And he's like, I'm a fucking Marxist, and just easy ways to put it in there where like it's just like just this little bit of information. It's just like, oh shit, that's so fucking obvious, as far as just basic economy stuff or like how our system came to be socially and shit. It's just like, oh man, just here and there. So
yeah, like Satan's also like going to school right now, and like their teachers are like just so hard libs, just like
oh fuck.
where it's like yay, like racial equality but no class analysis whatsoever, so
Yeah,
nothing's
that's
gonna get fucking
yeah,
done. like
yeah.
like like one of the professors had an assigned reading that was White Fragility, just like that book that like has absolute no class analysis in it at all. And it's just, I haven't read it, I can't speak too deeply on it, but I understand that it is a very liberal take with no
Meat.
no meat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think one of the people, our leftist commentators that we listened to on YouTube. I forget which one it was, but they mentioned it. It might have been Jimmy Dore. Shout out, listen to our podcast if you can. Um, which will never
We love
happen.
you, Jimmy. Thank you
Yeah,
for
Angry
your
spouts.
yeah,
We
angry.
love
I
them.
love your angry tirades about calling
yeah,
Biden voters pieces of shit.
yeah.
That made me laugh so hard today when I listened to
Heartwarming.
it.
A plus
I'll have to catch
literature.
up. I'll catch up this week. I haven't
Yeah,
listened to this last week, but yeah, no, like it's just
Poet.
yeah, freaking thank them for spilling the truth.
yeah, yeah, and like,
But yeah, the thing with the white fragility, like, is they brought it up and it was just like, what the fuck?
yeah,
Like, it sucks that you have to go through hearing that shit. And like, it's just one thing that like it bothers me so much that we discussed this too last time you visited was like how gigantic corporations are just like, oh yeah, like Black Lives Matter. But everybody in the sweatshops, keep working. Just keep fucking pumping out that shit. We're just gonna fucking keep using any type of fucking minority people against us. And it's just like same thing. It's just like, oh yeah, we're trying to look all nice, but in the backgrounds, they're just like putting a facade up for what they fucking do day to day. Just
whatever's
fucking
profitable. But I mean, it feels like if like putting a
yeah, profitable.
swastika, if putting a swastika up and saying like the white race needs to like survive or whatever it was like was profitable, they would do that shit.
Oh
Like, did
yeah.
you know like
Oh, I
the
know.
history? You know the history of Fanta soda?
No.
So the history of Fanta soda is once World War II started up, it was not good. It was not profitable for Nazi Germany to be promoting such an American brand of Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola decided to create a fruity soda drink, Fanta Cola, and sell that exclusively to Nazi Germany.
What the fuck?
Corporations are only concerned with what is profitable.
Oh yeah.
If like
Exactly.
some like another thing movie that I don't want to watch again, I've seen it too many times, is Black Panther. Black Panther was a movie like Rip
Chadwick.
Chadwick, yeah, Rip Chadwick for like your struggles through cancer and stuff. That's not
Yeah.
your fault, but the way that the character was written in this movie
Does
was,
not reflect on you as a person.
yeah, but it
Yeah.
was fucking horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I hated so much how people presented going and paying money to see Black Panther as activism. That's not fucking activism, that's consumerism.
Yeah.
Like there's
Get
no
it straight.
There's
get
and
that
I
shit
think
straight.
all this the way that people think this way. It's all like fed propaganda for like the past like 40 years of like
Exactly.
they
Yeah.
don't know any other way. They
Yeah.
don't there's like the with class way that class is in this country. There's no education on it. It's just like, oh yeah, fucking. It's just they're blind to it. They don't, and it's just easy, simple things that you just have to bring up to be like, oh shit, like this is more than just this. Yes, it is also a race issue too, but like it's also class issues as well. That's
But I
what
mean,
people.
it's happening with like millennials and Generation Z.
Oh yeah,
Like that's the thing
exactly. That's
that
what's
sucks,
cool
but it's
around the.
but it's also like we've democratized just the ability to learn all this stuff. And
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
you can listen to this podcast where we talk about dumbass movies, but also have like leftist takes on shit like what
Yeah,
we're talking about right now.
yeah,
There's also like hundreds, thousands, or millions of meme pages out there that will post random shit, just like that'll give you little snippets of theory every single day.
hmm
And that's honestly what radicalized me. That's one big thing that radicalized me. And then I started reading theory, and then I read State and Revolution, which just like
yeah,
solidified me into being a tanky. So it's like it's upsetting to see people of our age seeing just going to see a fucking movie as activism,
yeah,
and like
It's
the
embarrassing.
yeah.
it is embarrassing.
They got
Like,
fooled. They've been fooled.
yeah,
They've been had.
yeah,
They've been bamboozled.
they've been took.
They've been took.
We got to go on a whole new episode for some of this
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
But I guess to conclude my point on Black Panther, it was like there was a revolutionary figure in that one, and that was
Nicolas
Killmonger.
Cage. Oh,
The
the Cage Monger.
Cage Monger.
Oh.
But yeah, Killmonger, who served alongside Nicolas Cage in Desert Storm.
Probably. Okay, so back to the fucking Cage Fest of Con Air. Con Air Cage Fest. Sounds like a WrestleMania Saturday night.
It
But
does.
so like what were your final thoughts of the movie? Like after everything ended, like what were y'all's thoughts? Satan?
Okay, I guess I'll go.
Okay.
What is the reason that this movie was made? That's my final thought.
Yeah.
Why the fuck was this
Dude.
movie made?
And then I wonder how expensive this movie is to make because like the cast, like these dudes are like well-known actors, like most of them in around this
Yep.
time, late '90s, early 2000s. Like they were in every
Yep.
movie during that time. There's always that like generation of actors that go through like the years, and like this was
all the
them right here.
pyrotechnics.
Oh yeah, dude, it was like
They
Michael
wanna make a
Bay.
musical.
I feel like Michael Bay was like an intern on this shit or something because this shit was
Mhm.
fabulous. But yeah, like it's. Dude, I don't know why
Yeah.
the fuck it was made. Like, there was no.
Where is Con Air 2?
Dude, Con Air 9/11, you mean?
Con Air 2022.
Yeah,
That'd be funny as fuck.
but yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so my final thoughts are like, I guess, go to Vegas before a plane crashes on the strip because that shit might suck. But worse
Yeah.
than a plane crash, Corona. So, yeah, that's not good.
yeah. Don't go to Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
the thing.
Number one.
Number one, don't go
Yeah.
to Vegas. It's hot.
Yeah, dude, we went to my girlfriend and I went to Vegas in February, right before that break, and like I think they closed like 3 weeks later or something.
Uh-huh.
And dude, it was like right around the Super Bowl time, wherever the fuck that is, February or something. But yeah, and then like they closed in March. So, but we went in the beginning of February and we're fine. We never came back sick or anything. But then they're like, "Oh, we're closing shit down," and I think that was right before those people landed in San Bernardino from that were infected and
Oh
I
yeah.
think in China. They came
The
down.
people that brought it in.
Yeah, they were like containing them or whatever, and they probably sent them back home way too early.
Hell yeah.
So we beat that, and then after that, they just closed down Vegas and shit. So yeah, we got lucky.
Don't go to Vegas.
Yeah, unless you're crashing a
Hopefully.
plane and you need a long place to land.
Yeah, unless you're convicts in the air controlling the plane and
Yeah.
Charles Manson is
Yeah.
your one flying.
As long as you're wearing masks, it's okay.
Yeah.
6 feet apart.
And you wash your hands.
Yeah. Like, we're gonna crash. Gotta use the hand sanitizer. Oh no.
Don't open the door until you hand sanitize.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, that movie was wild. I am disappointed that there was no juggalos. It felt like a
Wait,
very
what?
cool movie. To be honest, like the theme, like an
Oh, I see what you're saying.
was like juggalo movie. There's just something about that whole theme, that
Like-
everything.
Yeah, it was weird. I'm glad that y'all liked it as far as like when I talked about it last time. Or like, oh, that sounds interesting. So like as far as what you're expecting going into it and at the end, like what was your expectations going into it before that shit ended? Like were you like, oh, I don't know what to expect, or like I know I kind of ruined a little bit of it, but
You didn't ruin anything. I still don't know what this movie is about. That's still my final thoughts. We talked about this shit for over an hour. I still don't know what this movie is
Yeah.
It
about.
was about hair dryers, blow dryers.
It's
because
about-
Con Air is
oh yeah, Connor.
about a blow dryer.
It's about getting your hair cut before you see your wife after not
That's
seeing
why
it.
it's called Con Air, because Nicolas Cage's long hair. That's the only way he could have kept it curly and perfect. Was blow drying that shit every day.
Yes.
Con
It
Air.
was a long
Yes.
Con Air commercial
Imagine at the end,
This
it's just
movie
like
was a whole
yeah.
sponsored by.
Yeah, sponsored by Con Air.
This movie was a whole fucking con. And with that, I'd say we gotta wrap up the podcast. This has been fucking long.
Yeah, it's been long.
Please like and subscribe.
Yeah, gotta end this shit.
This is V.
Satan.
This is AJ. And this is
All
the
right,
Beans
thank you for
Brigade
listening. I'm sorry
podcast.
This is so probably excruciating, but
and
you should
definitely
watch
not
this
worth the
movie
time,
with
but you
us.
should,
Just
yeah.
not worth
Just
the
think
time.
about it.
Just think about it. Just think about all these words that have been
Tell
said.
other
Yeah.
people to watch it.
But if you don't want to
Ridiculous.
watch it,
All right,
that's
thank-
why we're watching it, so we could tell y'all about it. So.
Exactly. This has been. I can't recall. I almost forgot the fucking name of this podcast. All right, thank you. This is
All
the
right.
beans.
It's the beans.
It's
It's
the
the baked
beans.
beans.
Baked Beans podcast. Yeah.